Soon Tai is not just a chef, he is also the owner of a small but incredibly popular restaurant called Mimiru. On the surface, it looks like a normal place to eat, but in reality, this is the #1 lunch spot for some of the most brutal gangsters in Korea. One day, Soon Tai and his partner Kang Pyo get a call. They receive an order, and without any hesitation, they rush out to handle it. Their destination is a back alley, where a fellow gangster named Pan Ho has almost been beaten up by a rival group. When they arrive, Pan Ho is confused, because only the two of them show up and they look way too relaxed for a rescue mission. That is when we find out the truth. These three are not ordinary gang members. They are the underbosses of a powerful gang called Sigupa, and now it is time for them to get to work. What follows is a brutal and intense gang fight that shakes the whole area. And that is where it all begins. This is Boss. Later that night, their boss, Dae-soo, treats them to dinner to celebrate their victory over one of Sigupa's rival gangs. During the meal, he tells them that their organization is very close to controlling all of Korea. There are only a few territories left in the hands of other groups, including a port and nightclub run by a man named Seok Dong and the traditional market in the city. From there, they start planning their next moves. By the time morning comes, they no longer bother bringing their subordinates. The three underbosses carry out each mission themselves, one by one. Street fights break out everywhere and chaos cannot be avoided. It does not take long until Sigupa finally succeeds in taking over all of Korea's underworld. On that day, they are summoned to meet a high-ranking figure named Sam for an official handover. Dae-soo is now recognized as the biggest gangster boss in the country. As a reward, Sam gives him a huge office building to serve as Sigupa's new headquarters. Without thinking twice, Dae-soo accepts it and celebrates this massive victory together with his most loyal underbosses. 10 years pass. Life looks very different now for Soon Tai. His restaurant, Mimiru, has become even more successful. With the help of his wife and his assistant, a young man named Tae-gyu, he is able to support dozens of employees who work there. One particular day becomes especially busy because representatives from Hana Bank are scheduled to visit and inspect the place. Soon Tai is planning to apply for a loan so he can expand the business and make it grow even bigger.
나순태, 준비됐나?
당연하지.
The people from Hana Bank clearly enjoy the food. They eat happily and eventually, with a bit of curiosity, they ask what the secret recipe is. Calmly, Soon Tae's wife explains that they only use simple, traditional ingredients. Nothing fancy at all. The bankers are shocked that something so simple can taste this good. In the end, they promise to approve the loan. But with one important condition, Soon Tae and his wife must not be involved in any criminal activity. Hearing that, the couple can only look at each other for a moment, sharing an awkward silence. Later that night, tension fills the house as Soon Tai argues with his wife. She is frustrated because even after all these years, he is still involved as a gangster underboss. To make things worse, his crew often eats at the restaurant for free, which sometimes leads to financial losses. Soon Tai tries to defend himself, insisting that the gangster world is what brought him success and status. Their argument suddenly stops when their daughter Namimi walks in. Without hesitation, she casually extorts money from the gang members like it is the most normal thing in the world. Both parents freeze. Seeing their sweet child behave like a seasoned criminal leaves them stunned and unsure what to do. The next morning, Soon Tai drives Namimi to school. On the way, he tries to make conversation and asks who her best friend is. Instead, she asks a simple question. What is a friend? That moment hits him hard. Guilt immediately rises in his chest and he starts questioning everything. As her father, he suddenly realizes he may have failed to give her a normal childhood. When they arrive at school, the reality becomes even clearer. Soon Tai watches as Namimi is treated differently by the other kids. The scene forces him to recall his wife's words and reconsider whether the gangster life is worth risking their daughter's future. Meanwhile, somewhere else, life is not going well for Dae-soo. He attempts to apply for a bank loan to grow his business, but the request is rejected instantly because of his reputation as a crime boss. He tries everything to convince them, even lowering his pride, but nothing changes the decision. The rejection is final. Soon Tai arrives just in time to calm him down.
금연입니다.
야, 씨발! 야! 잡으세요!
As night falls, Dae-soo finally opens up. He admits that being the most powerful gangster in Korea is not as glamorous as people assume. No legitimate business wants to work with him. Whenever trouble happens, he is always the one blamed. The pressure is overwhelming, and he relies on medication just to keep himself mentally balanced. Soon Tai listens quietly, then hands him an envelope. At first, Dae-soo thinks it is charity and feels insulted. But Soon Tai explains that it is not money, it is his resignation letter. The news shocks Dae-soo so deeply that he instinctively reaches for a dagger.
앞으로 요리에만 전념해서 조직의 전통대로. 야야야야야야야야!
But instead of using it, he hands it to Soon Tai. That blade is more than just a weapon. It is a sacred symbol of authority in the Sigupa gang. Anyone who holds it becomes untouchable. By giving it away, Dae-soo shows trust and respect. Deep down, he wishes he could live a peaceful life like Soon Tai, but he cannot allow his wife and future children to suffer because of his position. When Soon Tai returns home, his wife immediately embraces him. For the first time in a long time, it feels like a new chapter is finally beginning. They check on Namimi as she sleeps peacefully, and both believe this change will give their daughter a brighter and more ordinary life. But just when hope begins to grow, everything collapses. The next day, at the Sigupa headquarters, bad news awaits. Sam announces that Dae-soo has been found dead in his private room. No one knows why he made such a drastic and heartbreaking choice. Not long after the news spreads, the police chief, Chun-sik, arrives at the headquarters. Since Soon Tai was the last person seen with Dae-soo, he asks him to explain everything that happened earlier that day. Soon Tai carefully walks him through every detail. After hearing the explanation, everyone concludes that Dae-soo must have reached his limit and simply could not carry the weight of leadership any longer. As days pass, crowds of gang members from all over the region come to pay their respects. The atmosphere is heavy. No one takes it harder than Pan Ho, who always saw Dae-soo as more than a leader. To him, he was family. As the second in command, Pan Ho is ready to step up and take responsibility for everything that was left behind. But then, an unexpected problem surfaces.
했습니다.
배짜 씨발!
이달 말일까지 상환되지
현재
않으면
연체 중이시고요. 절차대로
오늘
진행하겠습니다.
법인 차량들도 전부 차업해서 모두 연대 보증인이시죠?
배짜 씨발!
Dae-soo had left behind an enormous amount of debt. The room immediately falls silent. No one knows who should take responsibility. To protect the gang's reputation, the higher-ups decide that the only solution is to find a new leader who can handle everything Dae-soo left unfinished. That night, Sam and the top council hold a closed meeting to discuss potential successors. There are 3 candidates. The first is Kang Pyo. Reliable, fearless, and built like a tank. With nothing but a baseball bat, he can take down anyone in his path. The only problem is that he is still in prison and will not be released anytime soon. The second is Pan Ho. He is enthusiastic and determined, but lacks support from the leadership. And the final candidate is Soon Tai. Sam believes he is the most perfect choice. From his perspective, Soon Tai has no weaknesses. The next morning, things take a different turn for Soon Tai. He and his wife go to Hana Bank to finalize the investment agreement for their restaurant expansion. He is excited and ready to sign. But as he reads through the terms, something shocking appears. If he has ever proven to be involved in criminal activity or connected to gang operations, he must repay the loan 5 times the original amount. His temper almost explodes. He feels insulted, as if gangsters are automatically treated as lesser citizens. Luckily, his wife steps in and calms him down before things get out of hand.
아니 무슨 양아치 깡패도 아니고. 아, 죄송합니다.
With that, the agreement becomes official, and Hana Bank becomes the primary investor in his business.
준태야, 축하한다.
Just when everything seems to be falling into place, Sam delivers another bombshell. That evening, Soon Tai is expected to meet the senior council and prepare himself as the next potential leader of Sigupa. When night comes, Soon Tai firmly rejects the offer. He wants a peaceful life and refuses to put his family, business, and future at risk. But the council keeps pushing. There are no better candidates. One of them even suggests that he can lead the gang and run his restaurant at the same time, as if juggling 2 completely different worlds is no big deal. Pan Ho, feeling overlooked, argues that he is capable, but no one takes him seriously.
안 된다니까.
안 돼.
안 돼.
The discussion drags on for hours with no conclusion. Finally, Sam and the council decide on a final solution. In 3 days, there will be a full election. Each candidate will get one chance to convince the members why they deserve the title.
이렇게 정리하자.
Time moves forward, and the day of campaigning finally arrives. Soon Tai is up first. Instead of speeches or flashy promises, he walks in carrying trays of food for everyone. The gang members light up instantly. His cooking has always been legendary, and once again, every single plate proves it. With confidence, he explains that if the crowd does not vote for him, he will simply feed everyone every single day for free. Next, it is Pan Ho's turn. He steps up with fiery enthusiasm, ready to impress. But no one pays attention. Not one person reacts. Realizing his approach is not working, Pan Ho quickly tries to change his strategy.
미미로 아니면 절대 못 되시지 않습니까?
근데 자율주행은 테슬라입니다, 형님.
지금부터 저
Meanwhile, Soon-tae feels completely relaxed. In his mind, there is absolutely no way he will win this election, and that alone brings him peace. His restaurant is thriving, people love his food, and life feels good. But that calm does not last long. One of his employees rushes to him with news. The results are out, and against all expectations, Soon-tae has won. He is now the elected boss of Sigupa. The next morning, reality hits even harder. His wife firmly reminds him that she will not support him returning to the gangster world, let alone becoming the leader of it. Hearing that, Soon-tae begins thinking of any possible way to escape his new responsibility. Then he remembers. Kang Pyo was originally one of the eligible candidates, but he was not considered because he was still in prison. With a new plan forming in his head, Soon-tae goes straight to the same bank where Dae-soo once attempted to get a loan. He boldly asks for 10 billion won without offering any collateral. As expected, the bank rejects his request instantly. That is when Soon-tae begins the next part of his plan. He creates chaos inside the building, causes a scene, and even hits a bank clerk.
네 마누라랑 지점장이랑 바람났다고.
아니야.
원식이 죽고 잡냐.
When the police arrive, he fully confesses and insists on being arrested. But after reviewing everything, the authorities declare that he is actually the victim and needs protection instead. Soon, Chief Chun-sik arrives. Yet again, Soon-tae explains the situation in detail. But instead of arresting him, Chun-sik refuses. Because if Soon-tae goes to prison, Mamiru will close, and Chun-sik will lose his favorite place to eat. Soon enough, the big day arrives. The election ceremony begins. Members from every region gather to cast their votes. When the count is revealed, the results are overwhelming.
준태. 조판호. 나순태. 순태. 나순태. 또 나순태.
Soon-tae receives 328 votes, while Pan Ho receives only 2, most likely from himself and Soon-tae. Sam steps forward, ready to officially announce the new boss. But before he can finish, the doors swing open. Mrs. Hong, Kang Pyo's mother and the widow of Dae-soo, storms inside. She refuses to accept the election results. To her, the only rightful successor is her son. She reveals that Kang Pyo has been released from prison, and now he is eligible to lead Sigupa. Kang Pyo is brought forward and given the stage. With passion and confidence, he begins his speech, sharing his vision for the future of the gang. But just when everyone expects him to ask for support, he does the unexpected. He recommends Soon-tae.
순태 형이었으면 좋겠는데.
수락하기로 했잖아.
나순태.
내가 할게.
안 돼.
After watching Kang Pyo escape, Soon-tae decides he wants out too. But Sam refuses to let him walk away that easily. If Soon-tae truly wants to resign, he has to bring Kang Pyo back first. Meanwhile, Kang Pyo has already made it to his dance studio. He has no interest in being a gangster boss. His heart belongs to tango, a passion that started while he was still behind bars. As he practices, completely lost in the rhythm, he suddenly realizes his mother and Soon-tae have shown up. Instead of panicking, he proudly shows off his dance skills, spinning and moving with confidence. His mother is furious. She cannot accept the idea of her son choosing dancing over inheriting power. But Kang Pyo has already made up his mind. Time passes, and the day of his big tango audition finally arrives. Kang Pyo travels with complete confidence, convinced this is his moment. But before he reaches the stage, Sun Tai's gang members show up to stop him. Kang Pyo responds the only way he knows how. He fights back while dancing, turning tango moves into combat. Somehow he manages to defeat them all. When he finally steps onto the audition stage, ready to prove himself, the judges tell him he is late and immediately disqualify him. Devastated and angry, Kang Pyo spots Sun Tai watching from a distance and assumes this is all part of another scheme. Meanwhile, at the harbor, Tae-gyu finishes delivering food from Mimiru, but instead of returning, he meets with Chun-sik, who is casually fishing. It is here the truth about Tae-gyu is revealed. He is secretly an undercover agent assigned to investigate drug trafficking among the gangs. His mission is to track and report everything related to Sun Tai. He shares his latest findings, but Chun-sik refuses to believe him. Tae-gyu has made too many false reports in the past, and one more mistake could cost Chun-sik his entire career.
과장님 없습니다.
치려는 것처럼 매번 한 발씩 늦어.
Back at Mimiru, Sun Tai opens the restaurant as usual. Two customers walk in and order a large amount of food. The staff gets to work, and Sun Tai proudly asks for feedback. But before anyone can answer, both customers suddenly collapse from food poisoning. Shocked, Sun Tai rushes into the kitchen. He suspects something is wrong with the ingredients. When he checks, he finds out the chicken used in the dishes is spoiled. As he returns to the dining area, he finds Kang Pyo waiting calmly. The message is clear. This is revenge. The damage spreads quickly. Complaints flood social media, and the restaurant's reputation crumbles overnight. The following evening at the harbor, fueled by anger and humiliation, Sun Tai confronts Kang Pyo in front of the gang leaders. A brutal fight breaks out and spirals out of control until both men fall into the river.
너 뭐야?
어딜 가, 이 새끼들!
News spreads across the country. Two of the strongest successors to the Sigupa throne are presumed dead, and with no bodies recovered, the nation goes into shock. With both candidates gone, the leadership position automatically passes to Pan Ho. Whether anyone likes it or not, Sigupa has a new boss. While the whole country believes they are gone, the truth is very different. In the hidden back room of the Mimiru restaurant, Sun Tai and Kang Pyo are alive and well. They faked everything, from the dramatic fall to the convincing wounds. Even Kang Pyo's stab mark was carefully staged with the help of Tae-gyu.
이번에 진짜 끝내.
한돈 특수 부위였으면 웬만했어.
멋진데.
The plan worked perfectly. By disappearing, they avoided being forced into leadership. As they rest, finally able to breathe, the door suddenly opens. Sam and Pan Ho step into the restaurant in the middle of the night. Shocked, Sun Tai and Kang Pyo quickly hide and listen. What follows is a disturbing conversation. Sam reveals a secret he has kept hidden all this time. He was the one responsible for Dae-soo's death. The former boss never took his own life. Sam made it happen.
양아치 새끼.
어떻게 대수양을!
He then pressures Pan Ho, asking whether Sigupa will assist his large-scale drug operation. If Pan Ho refuses, he hints that he will share the same fate as Dae-soo. Hearing this, Sun Tai nearly storms out in anger, but Kang Pyo and Tae-gyu manage to stop him just in time. Back in their hiding place, Kang Pyo starts to panic. They cannot go to the police while pretending to be dead. That is when Sun Tai casually reveals another secret. Tae-gyu is not just an assistant, he is actually an undercover officer. Sun Tai explains that he has known for a long time. Tae-gyu often forgot to hide his police uniform, which made it painfully obvious. Instead of exposing him, Sun Tai chose to keep him close and feed false information to mislead the police raids. He even admits that he secretly unloaded Tae-gyu's gun days ago just to be safe. Now the three of them have a mission: expose Sam, end his operation, and avenge Dae-soo. The only problem is evidence. They know the truth, but they need proof. That is when Tae-gyu finally steps forward with confidence. He reveals that his entire body is fitted with hidden cameras.
나니까. 여기
Every word they heard earlier is recorded clearly and can serve as solid evidence. The next morning, filled with excitement, Tae-gyu rushes to report everything to Chun-sik. But instead of being praised, he is shut down immediately. His previous failed reports have destroyed his credibility, and Chun-sik refuses to take him seriously. Tae-gyu is even kicked out of the office.
아니 언제는 무슨 뽕냄새? 야!
Heartbroken, he returns to Soon-tae and Kangpyo. Both men encourage him, reminding him that the mission is bigger than ego or embarrassment. Together, they begin planning their next move. This time, they will not rely on the police. They will take down Sam and his entire operation themselves. And if it succeeds, Tae-gyu may finally reclaim his reputation and become the officer he always hoped to be. The day they had been preparing for finally arrives. This is the moment when Sigupa will assist Sam in a major drug transaction. Tae-gyu steps into his undercover role, posing as a driver and blending in with the gang. Before leaving, he shares his live location with Soon-tae and Kangpyo, who are already positioned and waiting. When Tae-gyu reaches the meeting spot, he quietly observes everything, recording it all through the tiny camera hidden in his shirt button. His strange behavior begins to make Pan-ho suspicious, but the moment passes and no one exposes him. Then Pan-ho orders Tae-gyu to test the drugs in front of him. Panic hits. Tae-gyu has no idea what he is supposed to do. Trying his best to improvise, he does the worst possible thing. He eats the drugs. Within minutes, the effects kick in. Half conscious and disoriented, Tae-gyu does something even more reckless. He starts a live broadcast on social media and sends it directly to Chun-sik as evidence. Fueled by confidence and confusion, he tries to arrest everyone by pointing his hand like a gun, completely forgetting that his real weapon is unloaded and not even in his grip. Luckily, Soon-tae and Kangpyo burst onto the scene right on time. Before engaging in the fight, Soon-tae asks one simple question: who wants free lunch for life? Instantly, more than half the gang members switch sides and join him. What follows is chaos as both sides clash in a large-scale fight.
Mamma mia!
Soon, Kangpyo finds himself face-to-face with Pan-ho. This time, he ends the battle in the most unexpected way, finishing him off using his signature tango fighting style. Meanwhile, Soon-tae continues pushing forward, overpowering everyone in his path. During the chaos, Sam attempts to slip away with a suitcase filled with cash and drugs. Kangpyo blocks his escape, forcing him to change direction, only to run straight into Soon-tae. Cornered, Sam tries one last strategy. He gives an emotional speech, trying to appeal to nostalgia and regret, placing the suitcase at Soon-tae's feet as if surrendering. But the moment Soon-tae lowers his guard, Sam strikes and stabs him. Or so he believes. Soon-tae had already planned for this. Thanks to one of Tae-gyu's protective tools, the stab does nothing. He immediately overpowers Sam and restrains him using the symbolic dagger once given to him by Dae-soo. Not long after, Chun-sik arrives with backup. He looks around and asks who the real leader of Sigupa is.
내가 책임진다.
Hearing this, Kangpyo quietly slips away, explaining that he has a tango class to attend. That leaves only Soon-tae standing. With everyone watching, Soon-tae makes a final decision. He dissolves the gang right there. The members accept the announcement and prepare to go their separate ways. Even so, they still see Soon-tae as their leader and promise to return whenever he calls, as long as lunch is included. Time passes. Tae-gyu is later promoted to the role he always dreamed of, becoming the chief of police of Korea. And with that, the story comes to an end. So the moral of the story is, if life gets messy, fake your death, cook good food, and offer free lunch, because apparently that solves everything.